Hello, and welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping in. So this is my first video of this nature. I hope you guys enjoy. Today we do have 3 real-life experiences, which I am jealous of because I've never had these type of experiences myself. If you have a story that you would like to be read, please be sure to check the description. My email is going to be listed there. That being said, if you guys do enjoy the video, please be sure to hit that like button. Let's go ahead and get into our first story. It comes from Karley. This did happen when she was a bit younger. Joy and Amy moved in down the street when I was in the 4th grade. They were both older than I was, but Amy became a fast friend. Countless afternoons playing made-up games or on the computer were commonplace at the Smith house. One day, Joy plopped down on the chair behind us as we played the Curse of Monkey Island. I'm not sure if it was the curse aspect that made Joy inquire, but she asked if we had ever heard of Bloody Mary. "Oh, that's the one where you talk to the mirror, right?" I exclaimed. I had always been intrigued by things that go bump in the night, probably driven by fear and fascination more than anything. Amy, however, did not share my enthusiasm for learning more. She felt that there were things you just didn't mess with, and this was one of them. "Oh, come on," said Joy. "Let's try it. What harm could it be?" So off we went. We saved our game and made our way to their bathroom down the hall. Once we all squeezed in, we shut the door and turned off the lights. I remember hearing my breathing so loud in my ears, my heart thudded in my chest. This is silly, I thought. Bloody Mary isn't real, and a picture can't hurt you. "I don't want to do this anymore," said Amy. I remember thinking that she had nothing to be afraid of. After all, nothing could really show up in the mirror and hurt us somehow, right? We eventually convinced Amy to do the chant with us. We had to say it 3 times and summon Bloody Mary. We counted down from 3, 2, 1. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Nothing. "Okay, that's enough. We can go now." Amy sounded like she was desperate to leave the bathroom, but Joy and I were both unsatisfied. Nothing had happened. We had to try at least once more. Once again, we convinced Amy to comply with our desires, and the chant started again. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Silence. And then seconds later, Amy is screaming, running from the bathroom in tears. Just before she opens the door, I swear I see a glint of red light in the mirror before the hallway light pierced the dark of the now open bathroom doorway. Joy immediately had gone to Amy to try and placate her. We both began reiterating it was a joke. Anything that she potentially saw was just a figment of her imagination. I couldn't let it go after that. I had seen something too. We decided to continue the day and forget about Bloody Mary. We got back into our antics of making up games, which eventually led to a pretend scenario of being pilots. Of course, needing a little more drama to have some action in our game, we pretended an airlock had broken. Joy was leaning slightly back, hanging out of the airlock, while reaching for us. Suddenly, Joy's eyes widen as she's staring at us, and just as quickly, she instantly goes limp with her eyes glazed. Amy and I desperately grab her as she starts to fall completely backwards off the bed. We were able to hold her just long enough to get her back on the bed. We started yelling, pushing, anything to get Joy to respond. Nothing. Amy burst into tears, and I am praying for whatever's happening to stop. I remembered the mirror, the glint of red light, and started praying harder. I asked for Joy to be spared, for any spirits to leave her alone. Seconds felt like hours, but Joy opened her eyes and was instantly confused. Amy was despondent and adamant it was the work of Bloody Mary. I still played aloof and went with an excuse of potentially too much blood rushing to her head, but I think we all knew that she wasn't leaning back long enough or far enough for that excuse to be valid. We were all clearly shaken and decided to call it a day. No one wanted to tell Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and no one dared go back into the bathroom. Joy didn't seem quite herself either, like something was weighing on her mind. I didn't go visit the Smiths as much after that, something about their house still feeling dark. Like something or someone was always waiting around the corner, perhaps in a dark room with the lights off and doors shut, just waiting for someone to come by and play again. The Smiths himself moved shortly after, and I never did hear from Amy or Joy ever again. As time goes by, I slowly forget the image I saw in the mirror that day. At this age, all that stays is the bright red color of what I assume were her eyes, searching for us on the other side of the mirror. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I really don't remember my first experience with Bloody Mary because, well, alcoholic beverages. We'll just leave it at that. Our next story comes from McGaffey121. This was actually over on Reddit. The link will be listed in the description in case you guys want to go read it for yourself. So I was driving home on some dark back roads around 3 a.m. when I had the strangest feeling that someone was in my back seat. I turned on the interior lights, but obviously nobody was there. I kept driving while periodically checking my rear view mirror. I came to a stop sign, looked to my left, and saw a man walking down the road with a flashlight in the distance. I turned right. After driving about a half mile down the road, I swear I passed the same man walking with a flashlight. Not 20 yards past the man, I stopped at a red light with no cars in sight, just the man walking down the road toward me. I went through the light. After traveling about another half mile, I checked my rear view mirror and nothing is there. I glanced down at my phone and immediately looked back at the mirror, and there's a semi-truck on my bumper. This truck looks older and is covered in bright amber lights, but the headlights don't seem to illuminate my car. I would think that they would have, considering how close it was. I glanced down again, and when I look back up, the truck is gone. There was absolutely nowhere for the truck to turn off the road, and even if it did, I would have seen it still in the process of turning in that split second I glanced down. I came to another stop, and where I would normally go straight to continue the dark roads, I decided to take a left and go the longer, well-lit way home. I'm super happy that they made it home safe with no issues. Nothing good happens after 2 a.m., especially on back roads. Our third story comes from someone who wishes to remain anonymous. That being said, it is a bit of a cry for help, so if you do have any information, please email me. My email will be listed in the description, and I will pass it along to the individual who's requesting help. Let's go ahead and get into the story. Where do I begin? Something followed me home from my house to work this morning. I could see glimpses of it in the back seat. The energy didn't feel bad or good, just different. I moved my stuff out of the front seat and told it if it wanted to ride with me, it should sit where I could talk to it, but it stayed in the back seat in silence the entire drive. I've seen a lot of spirits or entities in my life. I've always seen and experienced inexplicable things since I was very small. But recently, like over the past few months, the imagery and sightings have gotten so frequent I can't just ignore it anymore or convince myself I'm making it up. I need advice. A few months ago, the goddess Iris introduced herself in a dream and said she had a message for me, but I wasn't ready to receive it yet. She told me to open my mind and she would return. A week later, I had another dream about Iris, but this time she specified that Hera had sent her, and I had a strange vision. I was veiled, sitting cross-legged on the floor, holding a statue of a black and white cow in my lap. The cow was slowly being consumed by gold from the feet up, and I was weeping, grieving. A month later, I had another dream. I was walking along an empty road, and a disembodied voice introduced itself as Gluttony. When I didn't answer, it said, "I am Baal." I did some research into demonology for the second dream because it was so oddly specific, and found out not only is Baal strongly associated with Beelzebub, gluttony, in Christian tradition, but he's also a fertility life deity, which makes this a third dream about a fertility god or goddess I've had this year. This is around the time I started seeing the sigils. I've done a little exploring into witchcraft in the past, like Wicca and such, and I know basically what a sigil is. but I recently started seeing strange symbols integrated into the logos on signs. I don't know how to describe it except that it's stuff I've seen a million times, but now I can really see it. Like somebody or something is pointing it out to me. The sigil that keeps repeating for me is like a peace sign with 3 circles on each point, minus the big circle encompassing the entire symbol. If anyone knows anything about this, please message me. I've even seen this symbol in sleep. The third and final dream I'll mention is one I had last night. It was an entity that often visited me as a child at my mom's house. A black, endless snake about 3 or 4 feet in diameter, with a human-esque face painted to be like a clown. The snake entity used to keep me awake for hours as a kid, always saying the same thing. It would call me by my name, and then ask for my name like it didn't know what it was. When I refused to tell it, it would then offer to give me its name. Last night, when I dreamed about the snake again, it called me by my name just like it used to. But instead of then asking me for my name, it just smiled at me and then I woke up. I want to clarify before ending this post that I have never played with any tools like a Ouija board or anything that would intentionally invite spirits or other entities to attach to me. As you can probably tell, I haven't really done any deep research or exploring into demonology either. If anyone can shed any light on these occurrences, I would greatly appreciate it. These entities are beginning to show themselves at work and at home, and I am losing some sleep because of the volume of activity in my house. So I have heard of experiences like this before. I've never had them myself, and for a while I was actually a bit jealous. But the not knowing, I think it would drive me nuts. So, if you do have some information on this type of thing, if you have somewhere this guy can go to look for information, shoot me an email and I will pass that information along. I do hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I will be trying to put them out once a week. And again, if you have any stories you wish to submit, please be sure to check the description for my email. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next video.